Hi folks, Cyclops FPV here, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Meteor 75 Pro. Well, actually it's an 80mm, not a 75, but yeah, Meteor 75 Pro. So what do you get in the box? Okay, first of all you get these attachments that you can put on top of the drone. On the canopy you get like a little face shield, and there's a spiky bit, I don't know what that's meant to be. A couple of camera guides, I think they're slightly different angles, you know, just a couple of bits and pieces, so I won't be putting them on. You get a battery charger which also doubles up as a battery checker. You've got two ports there, one says test on there. So what you do is you put a battery in there, would help if it's the right way around, and it does that. Ignore the flickering, that's the camera that's doing that. But yeah, it does that. You get two batteries with it. The other one's in the drone. Yeah, where it says test on there, you can also put two batteries in there together, and it will charge both of them up at the same time. The only thing I've noticed with this is a fast charger. It charges at 1 amp, and it's a high volt charger as well. But I think these batteries, they're only 3.8 volts. So these are ideally 4.2 volts, so they're not high volts. In other words, these are just normal 4.2 volt batteries. So I don't know what will happen if you try to charge these in a high volt charger, whether it ruins them after a while, or whether it decreases the battery life significantly. I'm not sure, but I use a professional charger, and obviously, like, I'll just charge it to that. You get a lead with it as well, which is your charge lead. Now, I'm not sure if this is a data cable for Betaflight, but it's definitely a charge cable. I've got a dedicated cable that I use for Betaflight, but when I tried this in there, I couldn't get a COM port working, so I suspected it was the lead, but I may have not had it plugged in properly, as I was in a rush to set this model up. So I'm not sure about that. But anyway, you get spare props with it. You get the get a screwdriver, a set of motor screws, and you get this little thing which Betafpv or Betafpv insist on using nowadays. This goes in the port. If I just take the battery out, this goes in the port at the back there, in there, and then you connect the cable to that end, and then obviously into the computer, and to do Betaflight and all that. So you get that, and this is the quad itself. It's an 80mm 45mm prop quad with it's running ELRS. Well, mine came with ELRS version 3, although it was advertised as ELRS version 2, so I didn't have to update it or anything. It uses 1102 motors, which, you know, is a bit sort of power hungry. 22,000 kV, but I think he could have done with 1002 motors, to be fair. I think 1102 is more suitable for walk snail or HD0. They're a little bit too power hungry, which I'll go into a bit more detail in a bit. What else? Yeah, 45mm props. It's running a UART receiver rather than an SPI. It's got a tiny little antenna at the back, little dipole thing. It could have been longer if they hadn't have glued it in at a weird angle. You could have probably got a few more millimeters out of it, but I didn't have any problem. Now this is the ELA S, one of them copper enamelled antennas. Now originally it came inside the canopy, and it kind of wrapped itself around the inside of that hole to hold it in. But I like my antennas to be as free as possible without any obstruction, so I ran mine on the outside. Bends it if you get into a crash, but it's easy to bend back up. And of course you got the one of these reverse type BT02 connectors. The way I would do this is, don't run your cable on the outside like that, because it runs very close to the prop. What I typically do is I have it running like that, or you could even put a cable tie in there to hold it down, and then with the battery I just push it in like that, and then connect it up like this, and then see the wires are all hidden then, so you can't get chopped off by the props. It's also running Bluejay firmware. I noticed two things about that. The first thing was it was set to 1 to 2S plus, so I changed that to 1S, and it's running on 96 kilohertz. I may change that to 48, and the reason being is my flight times ain't that great. I can get, I flew around in my flat, which is very tiny, and I can get 6 minutes just flying around in angle mode, really sort of docile. And yeah, I've got 6 minutes outside flying in air mode, doing the flippy floppies and all that sort of stuff. I was only getting about 2.5–3 minutes. Bearing in mind it's winter here, it was a dull day, so obviously it's going to affect the battery power and everything. So I don't know about, maybe in the summer you could add on a couple of extra minutes, but tried the Dogcom batteries, they wouldn't fit. The only other batteries I've got that would fit are the GMB 525s. If you do the 660s, they won't fit. Only these and the 525s seem to fit. Obviously the Emax 450s will fit, but you won't get a lot of flight time out of that, unless you cut a strip across there, and then you can use bigger batteries, but then it might make these a bit floppy when you come to put these back in. I'm going to be putting this in an open frame anyway, so I won't have that issue anymore. I like the way this flies. It handles like any other Whoop really. People have complained about the tune, like a bit of prop wash and that. They're very hard to dial out on these Whoops. So I usually find that as soon as you put these in an open frame, like carbon frame with open props, it usually gets rid of all that sort of stuff. So, and that's the intention I bought this for anyway, to change it out. The camera angle, now I was going to change the little insert in there to make the camera angle a bit higher. I fly at high rates, 1000 degrees per second, and I've quite a big, quite a high camera angle, round about 35 degrees. I usually use Cadec Ant, or I use the Runcam Nano, which is a very tiny lens on it. But if you notice, this lens is quite big. Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? And the angle that it's on, which is a bit low to what I fly, I found it perfect. Because it's got such a wide angle, I can actually fly in angle mode and still land, in a relatively small place, like a landing pad or something, or I can fly in, really fast and tilted quite aggressively, like pitched quite aggressively, and in air mode, and still see fine. So yeah, that that's perfect. So no issues with that. Frame's quite strong. Not that I crashed it much. I've got this same frame on a HD Whoop that I built about a year ago, and I've had no problems with that. I actually toilet tanked it, so my battery sits the other way, and I've got a walk snail system in that, and that's been fine. Took a lot of tuning to get right, but yeah, that works fine. Yeah, that's really all to say on this. Really, it seems okay for everyday stuff. It's just the battery life ain't that great. Um, but hopefully, it's the wrong time of year. Really, these batteries don't do well in this cold weather. So maybe like when it gets warmer, it'll be a lot better. But yeah, great little quad to fly about and just have a bit of fun with. It does freestyle pretty decently, you know. Um, but it'll do even better when it's in an open frame. That's about it really. Yeah, it's a fun little thing. You get all of this, which is quite rare nowadays, especially with the batteries, for about £90. So I suppose that's about 110 US dollars. You get everything you need to start flying. Setting up was pretty easy, didn't have to do anything really, just set a couple of things on Betaflight. The telemetry was switched off, so I switched that on. It was, can't remember what else it was, just setting up the OSD, and I think it was set to 400 milliwatts, and so it was getting quite hot just sitting there plugged into the computer, so I set that down to 100 milliwatts because I don't fly these far, and then at disarm it goes down to 25 milliwatts, so it's not cooking itself while I'm mucking around with the goggles and all that. Camera seems okay, yeah, the picture's pretty good for analog. Um, you know, uh, I thought these would have a separate VTX board on top, but mine seems to be a genuine all-in-one board. All that's in there really is the camera plug, and yeah, that's it really. So I don't know whether they made any revisions since the old one, but yeah, it's got good thrust, good decent handling. More than you really need for a little Whoop. Bit hard to fly indoors due to its power. You could put a throttle scale on it, I suppose, but nah, it's okay. It's a good little yard ripper. This antenna could be a bit longer, but you could always change that out. I do believe it's glued in there. They put a little bit of that sort of black tar glue on there to hold it down to stop the UFL from popping off. As I said, it could have been done in a different place, and then that wire would have been a bit longer and this would have been a bit higher. But I've had no issues really. But then again, I haven't really flown it very far. A couple of 100 meters, something like that. So yeah, it's been fine. Anyway, that's my review on that, and I'll stick some flight footage on, and you can see for yourself. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys, bye. Okay folks, so this is my first flight. I'm using the stock Betafpv 550 battery, which I'll tell you now isn't that great. I got about, I don't know, 2.5 minutes out of it, and on my second flight I'll be using a Dogcom 550 battery as well, and I got at least another 4 minutes extra out of that. So our second flight is 6 minutes and something. And this, bearing in mind, this is on a cold day, a winter's day, virtually freezing. So obviously in the summer, the battery is going to do a lot better. So here I am just trying out a few moves. I've flown this before, and everything seems okay. It does have a little yaw washout every now and then, which I've heard the tune on these can cause that. But I've, in the making of this video, I've since changed this frame. I've now put it in I think it's a UA/URV frame, which I'll be doing a second video on, and it actually improved the flight characteristics. And I also I changed these 45mm props to 40mm props. I don't see no benefit on these 45mm props really. On this frame you can't put bigger batteries on there because of the size of the battery bay, so I'm limited to what I could use. And with the other frame I can put virtually any battery I want in it, even an 850 1S battery. So you know, that's why I went for that. And also the 45mm props are really better for if you're carrying a HD camera like HD0 or Auxsnell or something like that. On an analog setup, I don't know, I just feel it doesn't really give you any benefit. So this is my second flight, and we'll be doing a little bit of same sort of thing. So yeah, I changed it to 40mm props, and to be honest with you, it flies just as great. I didn't notice any difference with it. If anything, battery life went up. The thrust is the same, if not better. Yeah, you know, I don't know. I really don't get it. So, and it seems to have, like, the tune itself seems to have sorted itself out for some reason. So I don't know whether it's because of it being an inducted frame or whether it's the props or what, but the tune's absolutely fine on the other frame. But as I said, I'll be uploading that video next, and you can judge for yourselves. This actually flies quite good. I found it a little bit sort of boring, and you know, it seemed okay, but it's just you can't put any better batteries into this really because of the small bay. So I decided to get this just so that I can change the frame and have another little sort of ripper like my baby crux, if anyone remembers that, which was based on a Mobula 6 flight board. I wanted to do the same with this, being 1102 motors on this as well, and the best results I had was with 1002 motors. You know, it can only be better. See, on my other frame with the other props and everything, I had a lot more hang time. I did try it on tri-blades, and I settled for the bi-blades in the end because it gave me a lot more hang time. Thrust was the same, battery life was a little bit better. Speed, I thought the bi-blades was a little bit quicker, but not so grippy in the turns. So I just want to see, if you notice there, had a slight yaw washout. It does that every now and then. There was no wind on this day, although it was cold. So I don't know whether I flew into my own prop wash or what. But this setup seems to do it quite a lot. But ever since I've changed it, I've had no problems. Yeah, it's a good quad, good camera on it, you know, for analog. Good power to weight ratio. Can't really fault it. It's just I wanted something a bit different. I wanted another sort of ripper, 1S ripper, with these motors on it. I've since found out this is the Matrix board, so it's got an inbuilt VTX. It's not on top like the other one was. It's a single board, nice and flat. It's got a UART SPI UART receiver on it, so it was on the latest, and of course Blue Jay. So I did all the sound. I think I got the Simpsons theme on this one, and yeah, it's going great. Really enjoy it. I mean, it flew all right here and that, and that, but yeah, I just wanted it to handle a little bit better. It's you know, it's a great whoop for what it is, but I don't know. It just seemed big for a 1S quad, and I think it just flies much better on a newer frame that I put it in. But I'll explain more in a video on the next one. It shudders if you notice every now and then as well. When you come down from a move, it shudders sometimes. I don't know whether that's a tune or whether it's the props or what else. I don't really know, but it doesn't seem to do that again. You know, in the new frame that I got. So yeah, look out for that video. It'd be on straight after this one. Um, you know, give me a couple of days to upload it and all that, and go and watch it. I do also recommend that DIY FPV by UAV Features, old Stu. That's good to find people in your local area who fly, and you can hook up with them and put your build ideas on there and share it. It's quite a good community thing. Anyway, we're coming up to the end of this flight now. You'll notice that the time's a lot better with this battery on it, so I highly recommend it. I had to muck around to fit this battery, but yeah, it was a lot better. But yeah, you can cut the bottom of the frame, just cut 2 slots in it, and then shoehorn a bigger battery in it. But you know, there's it's up to you what you want to do with it. It's just that I wanted another ripper, and I just think it just flies so much better on an open frame with open props that you know it's a no-brainer for me, and I'm well chuffed with it the way it turned out. Could always go back to this if I ever wanted to, or build another quad out of it. But 45mm props, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really all that keen on it. It's just too lightweight, and I don't think the bigger props make much of a difference. Anyway, folks, we're coming to the end of the flight. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you then. Bye.